Hello, Lisa Richard here with Loving Energy Recharge, coming in to do the Inner Alchemy for December the 30th, leading us through to about January the 5th. Inner Alchemy is a blend of the teachings of human design, the gene keys, and incorporating some tools as a more than existing Lightworker coach. We're following the turning of the mandala wheel, and we are in Capricorn season. So Capricorn season has us down in the 10th house. This is all about career and public image. And as an earth element, it is really driving us down to work on the foundation of ourself. When we look out to Mother Earth, this is represented by the tree in winter, the tree that has called back its energy reserves towards itself, brought it down into the root system in order to withstand the harsher months of the winter and to also do the repair work needed to then plant the seeds that will be sown again in the springtime. When we allow ourselves to attune back to our natural rhythm, back into the truth of who we are, and we remind ourselves that it is time within this season to call back the energies, to not be out trying to rush and do so much, but to use this as an opportunity with the energy of Capricorn, rooted practicality, to really assess the foundation of ourselves and to notice, by reflecting back, the journey that we have had to this point in time. Now, Capricorn season also brings us through a series of gateways. So we started with the winter solstice. It brought us through what was known as the behavior of self or the love of the self. And that was the journey back into being your natural self, by looking at where you were giving off energy to try to fix, to save, to invest into things that were taking you out of your natural rhythm, including trying too hard to fit in. That is a common trap for many of us. You might be an empath. You might be feeling someone else's emotions. You might be overly invested in somebody else's life. You might be finding that you are really trying to hold on to a vision of what you want the world around you to be, and really exhausting your energy trying to hold all of those pieces together. So this is about having faith within yourself, having faith within that higher self, and allowing those roots within you to find its way to anchor down into the earth, to connect with the ancestors, and to invite in their teaching, to remind yourself that you are capable of walking this human journey. Yes, it is not easy, but there is so much to be learned. There is so much potential for your own evolution. There is so much potential for the evolution of humanity as a whole. And we know that Mother Earth is going through her own ascension at this time. She's going from a 5D into a 7D. Humanity, as part of that, is also in this push to ascend. So many of you may be going through a series of your own awakenings, and awakenings usually come from having different behavioral patterns brought to the forefront, having new emotions coming to the forefront, having memories of things that haven't been quite dealt with come to the forefront. So when we look at energy and patterns, these are all things that are at the foundation of you. And love in its highest form is always encouraging these unresolved issues, these patterns of behavior to come up to the light, to come up into your awareness, encouraging you to have the faith in yourself that you can deal with them, that you can claim the ownership and responsibility to work through, to see the patterns, to more mindfully choose for yourself the correct path for you. So as I was sitting down and doing my own contemplation through gate number 38, the gene key 38, which is all about oppression and the fighter, I had a very clear message come down, and it was, the struggle is real, but is the struggle necessary? So let's talk a little bit about that gate number 38, the gate of oppression, the gate of the fighter, part of Capricorn season, bringing us down into the root center. So we're at the very bottom of your human design body graph, that birth chart. And if you are new to human design, you can pop by my website, lovingenergyrecharge.com, go to the human design tab and create your free birth chart. This is our second of 3 activations down in that root center that's also drawing energy from the splenic center. So what's happening right now and will be happening till about January the 10th is we're all getting a lot of pressure to be healthy. Now, this is instinctual health because that splenic center is your primal animal instincts. It is your fight, your flight, your freeze, your fawn, but it is also where your deepest intuition lies. So it is animalistic in nature. And there's a lot of pressure right now for you to be healthy, for humanity to be healthy. So you may be noticing that you are being stimulated to deal with a lot of things, and it can feel very uncomfortable. Why? Because we often don't like change, and we've become so good at distracting ourselves from the truth that we have convinced ourselves it's easier to push that away. It's easier to deal with it at a different time. It's easier to wait and just allow the holidays to move its way through, right? We can become master manipulators to ourselves instead of honoring what is coming up for you through that body awareness, through the encouragement of the higher self that is saying, we really need to address this. Now, being in the gateway of oppression and the gateway of the fighter means that we're also approaching the 1-1 portal energy. So we're turning the calendar year from 2026 to 2027. But in the teachings of astrology and looking at the inner alchemy, what is really happening is we're going through a 1-1 portal. January the 1st is the 1-1. So energetically, you are approaching a master number that is all about new beginnings. But the beauty about new beginnings is you can't cross over that threshold to the new version of you unless you're willing to leave the old baggage behind that is not working. So that means digging deep within the self to really see, where are you struggling? Why are you struggling? Are you creating your own struggle? Or are there things within that struggle that you're willing to honor, you're willing to work through because it's worth the struggle, it's worth the fight for yourself? It is no different than looking at that little seed under the ground. That seed has to have the courage to crack open and to bloom and to trust in its growth by getting the nourishment for itself. But first, it has to decide, am I willing to crack open? And am I willing to expose what is at the root of the self? Am I willing to trust and anchor this down to the ground and do the hard work necessary in order to see it reach fruition and to bloom and grow? Well, that is Capricorn season for us right now. So we have this gateway of oppression. We have a gateway of struggle. We have a lot of energy helping us move through the 1-1 portal, a time of new beginnings. And then we also have the full moon in the sign of Cancer on the 3rd of January. So all of a sudden, on the other side of this doorway of new beginnings, we are met face to face with a reflection of the moon that sits in the 4th house of family, the home, and ancestral patterns. So all of this energy is pointing in our direction right now, bringing to the forefront those things that need to be cleared up in the foundation of the self that are in particular relationship to your home, your environment, your relationships with your family, including your soul family, and cleaning up that ancestors, right? Clearing up those patterns that you've been doing time and time again, perhaps generation after generation, that now you're being encouraged to say, enough, enough. I'm ready to turn the page. I'm ready to claim my own story. I'm ready to write a new chapter. It is not easy to face one's habitual patterns. It's not easy to take a look in the closet, to peek into those dark corners, those neglected corners, to do the work to get all the way to the root of the issue, and then to have the courage to say, okay, I see it, I allowed that, and it is my responsibility now to start unraveling it. So it's like getting entangled with a spider's web. And the more that we struggle, the tighter this web, this energetic web comes, and it really gets us stuck into relationships that aren't working for us, behaviors that aren't working for us, mindsets that don't work for us. And in that struggle, the only way you're going to free yourself is by first taking a deep breath, allowing yourself to pause long enough to stop the struggle momentarily, to fill up with clear air, to bring yourself up and out, and to ask, show me the way, show me the guidance, to get the clarity on what you are struggling for and why, and to really examine, is that the direction that is for your highest good? So it's also very similar to getting a Charlie horse. If you've ever had a Charlie horse, a really strong muscle cramp, I know I used to get them in my legs all the time, especially as a child growing up. When you get that intense pain and it just takes over the muscles and it locks it in, and it is excruciating, the way to release that is by calming the body and breathing, sending air down to that area. And I remember learning that as a child, and everything inside me wanted to hold tense, but yet there was something in that I believed. And I would trust in the guidance to breathe, and I would find my body relaxing. And after a little while, I could breathe again. But then it also came to the state where I was so afraid to move that leg, to move where the damage was, because I didn't want to trigger another painful cramp. So it was also the understanding that, once you breathe into that area, once you shed some light onto whatever area you are struggling within, then it does require some time to do the repair work necessary and not try to jump so fast into moving forward. So using this energy right now of the shadow of struggle, looking at our habits, moving towards the gift of what is it that you want to preserve? What is worth fighting for? And where are you just fighting because you have this energy in you that is looking for an outlet? It is looking for you to grow. But when we don't allow ourselves to grow, it's very easy to take that anger out on other people. It's very easy to blame the world around us, to lash out, and or to keep all of that potential inside, and then it starts to eat away. So it comes back to the original question. The struggle is real, but is it necessary? Can you take the time needed in this energy to very mindfully see, to feel, to question, what am I fighting? Why am I fighting that? And is that truly in the highest good? So you're invited to take some deep breaths into yourself to really recognize that there is a pattern that we follow. We are down in that root system. We are here to feel the pressures of stress right now in order to grow and evolve. So embrace the energy of the 1-1 portal. Embrace a time of new beginnings by first using the mirror reflection of that full moon in Cancer on the 3rd to look at where are you willing to add some new energy in the home, in the family, in the teachings of the ancestors, And where are you ready to end those patterns of behavior that are not serving your highest good? They've just been developed as habits because we all learn to cope, and fear dictates that we will all create our own pattern to help us cope in the world around us. We're all being called up and out. We are being called to evolve. And the only way to evolve is by each and every one of us taking responsibility to do the work ourselves. I'm sending you all so much love. If you want more information on Capricorn season, the gates within Capricorn season, you're invited to check out the website, lovingenergyrecharge.com. There is a self-guided course for Capricorn season in there. You can enroll in that at any time, receive the weekly teachings of all those gate activations, move through some self-reflection questions to support you on your journey. And this is a combined effort with my dear friend, Mystic Corey Thorne Cameron. So there's a lot of information there about the energy of Capricorn, the archetypes in Capricorn, the angelic association, what it means to be in the element of Earth, and also learning about the 12 houses within the astrological body, and using your human design chart and your astrology chart, really getting to know how your design plays out in the changings of these energies as we go through each of the 64 gates throughout the course of the year, and knowing how to recognize that lower vibrating energy, the shadow energy, so that you can reach for the gift. It's not about trying to always judge oneself so hard that we have these habitual patterns. It's by knowing that there's a gift in there. There's a way to transcend from shadow into light. And that gap is narrowed by doing your own inner alchemy work. So there are many tools there to support you. I highly encourage you to check it out. You may also want to check out the More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness, which is full of self-guided programs, master classes, new and upcoming classes, so many tools to help support you on your spiritual journey. Sending much love to you all, and I look forward to greeting those who are coming into the free 1-1 portal event on December the 30th. That's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I am honored to facilitate that for you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.